Madam Clerk, the time is now 7 p.m.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It is now 7 p.m. I'd like to call this regular Township Council meeting to order. Roll call. Councilwoman Perone,
Present.
Councilman Anderson,
Present.
Councilwoman McIntosh,
Present.
Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy,
Present.
Mayor Whitfield.
Present.
Thank you. I'd like to invite Reverend Soto to lead us in tonight's prayer.
Good evening.
God, give you thanks and praise for your love. You are a loving, good God. You are great. Thank you for creating us and sustaining us day by day. Thank you that you made us in your image, exist in a community with other people. Thank you for the city of Willingboro and our elected officials. Thank you for our businesses, our church, our families, and every individual that makes the city of Willingboro the great place that it is. Oh, but Lord, we acknowledge that we do not deserve these good gifts. We are not worthy of your favor. We have sinned against you in thought, in our words, and in our deeds. We do the things we should not do, and we don't do the things we should do. We have not loved you with our whole heart. We have not loved our neighbors as ourselves. We plead that the blood of the Lamb, God, Jesus Christ, who died for our sins, forgives us and give us the hearts of obedience of your Holy Scripture. Jesus, thank you because you rose from the dead to reign as king over heaven and earth. Grant the city of Willingboro that it would be known as a righteous city. It would be known of a city that confesses that Jesus is Lord, a city of peace, a city of hope, a city of happy homes, a city that welcomes strangers, a city that cares for the needy and defends the innocent from evildoers. Heavenly Father, and I thank you for the government that you have placed before us.
Amen. Thank you, Reverend Soto. And Reverend Soto is a reverend at the Jesus is Lord Church, located on Route 130. Madam Clerk?
Please rise for the flag salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Compliance statement. Notice was provided in compliance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975 to the Burlington County Times and Philadelphia Inquirer, stating the date, time, place, and the agenda to the extent it was known. Additionally, notice was filed in the office of the Township Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here this evening. Before we jump into our agenda, I do have some announcements to make. Effective today at this meeting, Willingboro Township will continue to live stream our council meetings with the understanding that there may be occasional technical interruptions beyond our control. In such cases, every effort will be made to record and upload the full meeting to the township's website and designated platforms as soon as possible following the meeting. However, due to unpredictable technology issues, and in order to ensure fairness and consistency in the public participation process, until further notice, we will only be accepting public comments physically here in the courtroom and no longer be accepting them through the live stream platform. Residents are strongly encouraged to attend our meetings in person to participate in the public comment portion, but for those that are unable to attend, you may send questions and comments submitted to the township clerk either by email or US mail. All of her information is on the website, and we have also published this in the newspaper. For those of you that are here tonight and seeking to participate in public comment, we are piloting a new process. So there is registration cards in the back. so that we make sure we have your contact information for after the meeting. Please make sure you fill out the card, and when you come up during the public comment portion, you can hand it to our clerk or our deputy clerk before you speak. All right. Thank you all for your understanding in this matter. All right, now we will have some oaths of office. Mr. Harris, do you want to start off on that?
Yes, we are very happy this evening, Mayor, members of the governing body, and members of the public, to be promoting two police officers who are most deserving. One is the newly appointed Sergeant Mark Klaus, and after that will be Lieutenant Brandon Thomas. So I'm going to ask Captain Bucks, or Chief Bucks, forgive me, long habit, hard to break, to come and speak highly of his officers.
Good evening, Chief.
Great day, great night. Tonight is very special where we have the opportunity, or Mayor, you have the opportunity to swear in two of our officers. Officer Mark Klaus to the position of Sergeant Brandon Thomas to the position of Lieutenant. If I could ask Officer Mark Klaus and Sergeant Thomas to step forward real quick. So Officer Klaus, he's been with us since 2016. He comes with us with a great deal of knowledge. He started with, August of 2016. Throughout his tenure, he's a member of our SWAT team, SPO, firearms instructor. He's a instructor at both the Burlington, both Camden County and Gloucester County Police Academy, and he holds a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from Rutgers University. And tonight he will become Sergeant Mark Klaus. To my left is Sergeant Brandon Thomas. He came to us in August of 2014, and throughout his career, he is promoted to sergeant. He is also a member of our SWAT team. He is a school resource officer. He's a current public information officer. He's an SPO. He will be transitioning record lieutenant. Sergeant Thomas holds a bachelor's degree from Rowan University and a Rowan University, and he has a master's degree from Wilmington. He will be taking. So at this point, turn them over to you.
All right, thank you, Chief Bucks. Well, first, I'd like to say thank you both for your commitment and service to Willingboro Township. It is so important to us that our residents feel safe when they are here in Willingboro, and I know that you two have contributed to that feeling of safety in this municipality for a number of years now. So it is my honor to swear you in to these new roles. Sergeant Klaus will do you first. So Thomas, we'll get to you in a second. All right, Sergeant Klaus, if you will raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Sergeant Mark Klaus, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and the governments established in the United States and in this state, county, and township, under the authority of the people, and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of sergeant in Willingboro Township, according to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations, Sergeant. And now, Lieutenant Thomas, if you will please raise your right hand. I, Lieutenant Brandon Thomas, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and the governments established in the United States and in this state, county, and township, under the authority of the people, and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all of the duties of the office of lieutenant in Willingboro Township, according to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations, Lieutenant Thomas. Oh, we should do a picture up here too. Yes, thank you, Chief Bucks, and congratulations to uh, Captain Harry and Willingboro. We are so proud to reintroduce some of Willingboro's finest to you, Sergeant Mark Klaus and Lieutenant Brandon Thomas. Congratulations, and make you continue to have a very strong career here in Willingboro. All right. Next, we will have the reading of a proclamation. September is Hispanic Heritage Month. And this evening, we will have our proclamation for Hispanic Heritage Month read by Councilwoman Rebecca Pearl.
wanna wait till the room clears out?
Yeah.
A little noisy. You're loud. All right. Proclamation honoring Hispanic Heritage Month. Whereas the period from September 15th through October 15th has been designated as National Hispanic Heritage Month, a time to celebrate and recognize the invaluable contributions, vibrant culture, and rich history of Hispanic and Latino Americans. And whereas this month-long celebration begins on September 15th to mark the independence anniversary of 5 Latin American countries: Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, with Mexico and Chile celebrating their independence on September 16th and 18th, respectively. And whereas Hispanic Americans have long played a vital role in the growth, prosperity, and cultural fabric of our nation, contributing in all fields of endeavors from government and business to education, science, literature, art, music, sports, and public service. And whereas in Willingboro Township, we are proud to be home to a growing and diverse Hispanic community whose values of family, faith, hard work, and service to the community resonate with the spirit of our township and enrich our shared experiences. And whereas Hispanic leaders, educators, healthcare professionals, entrepreneurs, artists, first responders, veterans, and activists have made lasting impacts both locally and nationally, breaking barriers and paving the way for future generations. And whereas the township acknowledges and supports the work of local Hispanic organizations, cultural centers, community advocates, and families who strive every day to preserve heritage, promote inclusion, and create opportunities for all. And whereas during this month, schools, libraries, faith-based organizations, and civic groups throughout Willingboro are encouraged to engage in activities, discussions, and educational programs that honor Hispanic history and promote cross-cultural understanding. And whereas Willingboro Township remains committed to being an inclusive and welcoming community that honors dignity and contributions of all its residents, regardless of race, ethnicity, or background. Now, therefore, be proclaimed that I, Mayor Samantha E. Whitfield of the Township of Willingboro, on behalf of the governing body and all residents, do hereby recognize September 15th through October 15th, 2025, as Hispanic Heritage Month in ceremonies and activities that honor legacy, achievements, and ongoing contributions of Hispanic and Latino Americans. Let this proclamation serve as a reaffirmation of our commitment to diversity, unity, and mutual respect for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Perone. All right, and at this time, we will have our township manager go over the municipal updates.
Good evening once again. As we round into this fourth quarter of 2025, I assure you that all of our departments are continuing to advance the key initiatives that we started at the beginning of the year or carried forward from last year, and are maintaining essential services and deliver community programs that strengthen both operations and resident engagement. And our finance department, as of August 31st, 2025, total revenues collected stands at $19.1 million, with 17 million derived from tax collection and 2.1 million from other resources. Major disbursements include 3.34 million in monthly payments to the Willingboro Board of Education and 2.7 million in quarterly payments to the County Board of Taxation. The township has also realized more than 1.6 million in grant funding year to date, with notable awards including $750,000 received from the state to be applied towards the senior center, and $375,000 received that's going to be applied for the food pantry development. And our expenditures for August totaled 4.26 million, representing 65%, or our total expenditures represent 65% of our budgeted appropriations spent to date, and that is an awesome number at this point in the year. Chief Bucks already shared the information pertaining to Captain Harry, so I will not go through that again, but we do have remain fully staffed with 70 sworn officers, and I will ask Chief if he can just to come and give a brief update on the unfortunate murder that had happened in Willingboro on the eve. Oh, he's still with the officers? Okay. So maybe we'll get back to him, we'll see. The fire department responded to several in-town fire incidents, including residential and vehicle fires, while also providing mutual aid service to neighboring municipalities such as Mount Laurel, Riverside, and West Hampton. And the department continues its monthly food delivery program for residents unable to access pantries due to illness, disability, or transportation. That's all right, Pete. Chief Bucks, I was just asking if you could give summary on the activities related to the murder that Willingboro after the Jazz Fest.
So it's been very busy weeks since the Jazz Fest. Within 48 hours from the time of that incident, we identified 3 suspects. 2 have been arrested. 1 has been charged and has not been arrested yet. So we are in the process of trying to locate that 3rd individual. There are charges out for that individual, but it's just a matter of time before that person is located and arrested and processed and prosecuted. So I don't know if I could take any questions or if anyone has any questions I might be able to answer. But it was great work between our department, the prosecutor's office, and great collaboration of teamwork. And what helped us bring these individuals to be charged was the use of technology. Between the technology we have throughout the municipality and throughout the county played a significant role in us being able to bring these individuals to being charged, and ultimately 2 out of the 3 in custody, and hopefully within the next week that 3rd person will be in custody.
All right. Thank you, Chief Bucks, for the update. And I know that unfortunate event has been at the top of many residents' minds, but I appreciate the diligence of the prosecutor's office as well as our own Willingboro Police Force to resolve this issue in a very swift manner.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I agree. We have a very efficient policing staff. Public Works has been focused on both maintenance and capital projects. A new 2025 chipper was received, and currently some hazardous trees at the library have been removed, and plumbing issues at the Country Club pool. The bathrooms there has also been resolved. The new trees will be planted in the library, I believe, this week coming up. And what type of trees are they again, Mr. Chapman? Crepe myrtle trees. I have no idea what that is, but it sounds nice. What I do know is that it is a shallow rooting and straight down instead of long and out. And that will help abate some of the sidewalk issues and uplifting it and things like that currently and into the future. We are still working on the flooring upgrades at the library and JFK Center. We had initially planned to, or budgeted for about $185,000 to replace the carpeting in the library. We did not take into consideration the cost associated with moving the furniture in the library, which is very substantial. And additionally, as we were looking at that project, we will be replacing a lot of lovely new carpet, but there's a lot of old cracked tile in the entrance. So we're going to be looking at replacing that as well. So that project is probably going to come in a little bit higher, maybe around $356,000. But we're also looking to repaint the facility as well as change some of the leaking ceiling lights or the skylights, because it would not make any sense to lay down new carpeting and then have the skylights leaking on it. So we're going to be making those repairs moving forward. Ahead of the ribbon cutting at the JFK Center Fitness Court, there was some temporary drainage work done there to alleviate some of the ponding concerns. And routine services have also continued with 548 bags of trash being collected, 37 potholes repaired, and 2.5 tons of metals recycled. Our inspections department has been also busy. They completed 1,344 inspections in August, issued 683 violations, closed 670 cases. They collected $90,341 in revenue, with a majority coming from construction permits. And the township currently tracks 301 residential and 20 commercial vacant properties. At the last council meeting, several residents raised concerns regarding rental properties on Balfour Lane. After reviewing inspection details from the Code Enforcement Department, along with related police records, we were able to identify 2 major properties that have been identified as problematic. The landlords of these properties, one who was residing in Jupiter, Florida, and the other one in Lakewood, New Jersey, have been contacted regarding their responsibility to monitor their rentals so that they do not infringe on the rights of neighbors nor diminish the atmosphere of the Willingboro community. In addition, we are putting on the final touches to a new ordinance that will tighten restrictions on rental property owners and hold them more accountable for issues stemming from their tenants. And this forthcoming ordinance will include some substantial fines to ensure compliance and protect neighborhoods' quality of life. So we hope to have those ready to present to you at our meeting in October. The Senior Center, the Community Affairs and Wellness Division offered a variety of programs in August, including low-impact exercise, yoga, meditation, line dancing, and all of the things that they usually provide to the participants that come to the center. The weekly food pantry distributions continue with approximately 200 pounds of food provided each week. Attendance at the Senior Center averages about 100 visitors per day. While previously reported, totals suggest that 22,000, 3,000 persons visit the center a month. Those are really reflective of regular participants that come multiple times during the month. So we are kind of averaging about 100 visitors into the Senior Center, repeat visitors into the Senior Center. In addition, the Township Transportation provided 191 bus trips to the center, 43 trips to medical appointments, and upcoming health and safety programs, including flu shots and lifeline cardiovascular screening, and a driver safety course for seniors to participate are available. And if anyone would like more information on that, they can contact the Reba Foster Senior Center. The township is currently hiring crossing guards. So So if you have a few hours available in the mornings and afternoon during school year and want to earn some extra income, please visit the township's website or contact our Human Resources Department, and there are opportunities that are available in that area. We also want to welcome Mr. Anthony Bucci, who has joined Willingboro Township as our new Human Resources Manager. Mr. Bucci brings extensive municipal human resources and labor relations experience, having previously served as Director of Human Resources for the Camden County Police Department, where he managed employees and labor relations, leave programs, and wellness initiatives for more than 500 employees. His background in workforce management and unionized environments will serve Willingboro well. He has extensive experience with civil service, and he will succeed Ms. Loretta Anderson, who will retire at the end of October after many years of dedicated service to the township. And we will wish her well in her retirement. In our recreation department, the township's new outdoor fitness court had its grand opening back on September the 5th. The event was well attended by both county officials and local officials and residents, and we would just like to extend thanks to everyone who participated and helped make the unveiling of this new asset in Willingboro a success. The Fall Soccer League began with 73 participants, while Camp Sun and Fun concluded mid-August with 116 campers. And unfortunately, the Panthers cheerleading program was canceled this season due to a shortage of coaches. And facilities rentals also generated just about $9,000 in revenue for the Recreation Department. And the department remains under interim leadership with staffing adjustments underway. And I'm going to ask Mr. Lowry if he will come at this time and give a brief summary of what's been going on in recreation.
Just check the mic. Okay. Okay. Yeah, hold on.
One more time.
There we go.
Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Council, members of the public. We have been hard at work in the Recreation Department. There has obviously been a lot of changes that has happened. Right now, we're focused on improving our operational efficiency. We are addressing a number of things, where how we engage with our staffing. Obviously, we got some technological features here in the township. A lot of our staff, from temporary staff to part-time staff, they were all clocking in using paper timesheets. We don't find that to be efficient at all, especially when we have time clocks here in the building. Just the first payroll that I did over there, I think there was maybe over 50 timesheets that I had to sit all day just doing payroll. So that wasn't an efficient use of time. That's just one instance of, the inefficiencies in the department. I have assigned one of our program coordinators to kind of coordinate the activities of the Wellness Center. I noticed that since being in that space, there was no one, a full-time staff, monitoring the activities in the Wellness Center. Excuse me. Slightly under the weather. There was no one overseeing the activities of the Wellness Center, so I made sure that that a person was in place to oversee what was happening over there. We are having formal training on MyRec. MyRec is a system where we manage our recreation programs, the building schedule, the facilities calendar, the rentals of the banquet spaces, and the rentals of the parks, the pavilions, the tennis courts, everything that's related to recreation spaces. That's all managed through MyRec. A lot of the staff that have been retained in the department have not had formal training on the MyRec system. They don't know how to use it from top to bottom. So we're going through that formal training with MyRec. We'll be having a training tomorrow. We did assign an employee to oversee the facilities rentals so that there's one designated person that is going to be responsible for banquet rentals and rentals for the parks and the pavilions and things of that nature. So that person will be having formal training on that as well, so that we're operating in a way that is efficient and, that benefits the resident. Additionally, we're looking at our fee ordinance. We noticed that there's some pricing um, concerns when it comes to the banquet space, the gym, and other areas. So we're looking at creating a system that makes sense, that's fair for the residents, so that, you know, it's fair. Um, I am interested in hosting a recreation community summit, one that is a retreat-like summit that allows residents to come in, share their feedback with the township on how they think the recreation program is benefiting the residents. We'll be having surveys at that summit so that they could, again, share their feedback. We can collect that data and then compare it later on in the future. I'm looking to host that sometime in January. Again, giving the residents a chance to come in and engage with the department. Beyond that, we are looking at our special events form. There's been a number of people that have come out and showed interest on hosting events in the township in various places. Someone reached out, they wanted to have a breast cancer walk next year. While we have the special events form, we don't have a formal or efficient process in our code to express how that special event will take place, whether that be an outside organization or one of our committees taking care of that. So we want to formalize that process as well. Beyond that, again, we're working on the operational efficiencies of the department right now. Then we'll move into programs. I did task the staff with going into the MyRec system this week so that when we meet on Friday, we can get a clear picture of how many people are registered for each program that we're having right now, whether that be basketball, football, wrestling, Zumba, spin, jump fitness, all of that. We're going to be evaluating that this week. I know that there's some programs that we have right now where there's maybe 3 or 5 people registered for that program. I don't know if that's necessarily a great use of our resources for just a few people. So we'll be looking at some programs that, we want to enhance, or some programs that we may or may not sunset. If any questions, I'd be happy to take those.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Lowry. Do we have any questions for Mr. Lowry? All right, seeing none, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lowry. So our engineer is not with us this evening. He had some personal things. He could not be here, but I do wanted to just basically give you some of the things that have been happening. There are several significant capital projects that are still in motion. The Jake's Place Playground and the pickleball courts. Last time we spoke, we did talk about some cost-saving measures on those 2 particular projects. We have identified about $300,000 worth of savings. We did get plans for those modifications, and I will forward them off to the council for your review. Playground equipment is very expensive, so it really was the removal of one piece of equipment and the shrinking of the play area that resulted in the substantial savings. At the Kennedy Center and MLK building, inspections are scheduled to assess the adequacy of the rooftop units. I know we have been reporting on the issues that we have been having there, and only some solutions that are meeting industry and safety standards will be accepted. The Edge Lane roadway improvements are currently advertised with bids due on September 25th. The Buckingham Drive roadway improvements have been completed with the final inspection scheduled for September the 17th. The Kennedy Center track is under design with bids anticipated in late fall. And however, we may utilize not a state contract, but a cooperative contract to complete the project. We would like to have it completed by year's end, at least the track portion of it completed by year's end. So we have received some numbers. We are going to review them. I will be presenting them to the council for your review over the next week, and hopefully we'll be able to award a contract to begin the work at the very least on the track portion of the project before the end of the year. Phase 2 of the Performing Arts Center has begun with demolition this week. We will be having weekly site meetings established to ensure that progress consistently moves forward with this phase. The new contractor seems to be much more efficient in handling these types of projects. There have been 3 or 4 projects that have 60-day construction deadlines to them. He is pretty confident, barring any unforeseen out of the blue happening, that they will be able to meet those deadlines. And if that is actually realized, the Performing Arts Center will pretty much be finalized in the end of November. And then just some back of the house work will need to be completed. And that is all anticipated to be completed by February of 2026. So we would like to hold our reorganization meeting there in January, if possible. And then we are planning opening celebrations for early 2026 for the Performing Arts Center. Some general items that we've been working on, the TNVR program has been discussed quite a bit of time. A few weeks ago, several residents came before the council to speak about the TNVR, which is the trap, neuter, vaccinate, and return. It's a management technique in which cats are humanely trapped, examined, and sterilized by a veterinarian. They're ear-tipped, vaccinated against rabies, and then returned to their original location. It's been proven a cost-effective approach. However, after reviewing some of the ordinances that were presented to the council for approval adoption, we just felt some of the language wasn't behooving to Willingboro. So we did make some modifications. We did forward those modifications to the proponents of the ordinances to get some of their responses and commentary. I have received no responses from them at all. I will forward it again this week and follow up this week. But we are moving forward for introduction in October. Under the former OEM coordinator, several months ago, conversations began with the county and state offices of emergency management about establishing the Kennedy Center as an emergency shelter. These discussions were recently revisited with representatives from both county and state OEM, Chief Bucks, myself, Chief Burnett, and our OEM coordinator, Tommy Farrier, Ms. Carmichael from my office. We met with their teams to explore the opportunity. While I believe the project could be beneficial to the township, we were mindful of the council's previously expressed concerns and asked if the school boards might be involved. The board shared that while they have plans to bring one of the vacant schools back online, they have another that could potentially be considered. However, that facility will require significant work, and it would not really be economically prudent to repair and maintain a building solely as a standby emergency shelter, especially when that facility is under control of the school board. So there are no decisions there. The discussion remains ongoing, and any final considerations will be brought to you for your advice and consent. And on Friday of last week, we met with the Beloved Project regarding their implementation into Willingboro. I'm very excited about the services that they will be able to provide our residents, and we are in the process of preparing space for them. Tentatively, they will occupy the office space formerly used by Congressman Andy Kim. And the goal is to have them in place and open for business by October 1st. So at this time, I would like to call Mr. Ken Belia from Belia Technologies, who is our IT manager and who is going to give you a little update on some of the matters related to our IT here in Willingboro. Mr. Belia.
Figuring that.
Realized this was a problem, or I would have had it addressed. My apology. But this will go to the top of our list, of course, make sure we get it addressed. Just wanted to take a minute and just kind of go through some of the stuff that we've seen, what we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. I personally have been working from Willingboro on a daily basis. just being pulled into some of the larger issues, I realized that the size of your network is a little bit larger and needs a little bit more attention. Um, a little bit about my history. I've worked for Willingboro as a subcontractor, uh, basically for the past 14 years, almost 15 years at this point, helping various staff with a lot of their movements, a lot of their upgrades throughout time. Kind of in the last, with the last administrator, kind of lost touch a little bit with the network. So just playing a little bit of a catch-up game, trying to figure out what's changed, or new servers, new backbone switching, things like that that I'm, trying to get my hands wrapped around and make sure they're secured, make sure they're kept up to date. Some of the stuff that we did find were switches and infrastructure that hadn't been updated in a long time. So we had a little bit of downtime the past couple of weeks with getting that infrastructure updated. We had to unfortunately do it during normal working hours, so we had support from the vendors without extra charge to Willingboro. Some of those were smaller outages, and some of the updates caused sometimes a little bit of a longer outage. But we were able to get our hands wrapped around it fairly fast and get it corrected. So some of the stuff we're finding is just lack of documentation, not having passwords to certain things. Some infrastructure that was up and running that shouldn't have been up and running anymore, so getting that removed. And that's basically what we've been doing in the past month and 15 days. So the month and 15 days that we've been here, we opened up our ticket system to all the users in Willingboro, to all the employees. We were flooded with about 250 tickets in that period. I can I could gladly tell you that we're down to 20 at this point. So the problems are being addressed. I am working very closely with Mr. Harris. Thank you. He's been amazing to work with in helping getting not only infrastructure cleaned up, but also the physical rooms cleaned out and getting the old stuff disposed of through the proper channels. So it's just a matter of getting our hands on building an inventory of what you guys have, making sure we're not spending on stuff that we already have or we can reuse. Some of the stuff, just a small tidbit of one of the larger issues we ran into. We had one of our facilities that constantly kept dropping their connection to the main hub, which is here. So they'd lose internet, they'd lose their servers. All connectivity would be cut to that building until that piece of equipment was cycled. 15 days of looking at it, going through the logs, checking, working with Dell Direct. We realized that that switch is going bad, and we were able to get a new switch from Dell free of charge because they had the extended warranty. But this was an ongoing issue that had been ongoing for years that we were able to get knocked out in that 15 days. It was a very difficult issue. So really, I just wanted to say thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate the confidence that you've putting your confidence in me to handle this and move this township forward. If you ever have any questions or concerns, you can always reach out to me direct. I know, of course, you go through Mr. Harris, but I'm always here to answer questions if you need me. Are there any questions that I can answer? I'm sorry, I'm so nervous. I don't usually do this.
It's all right. I'm sure there are going to be questions. As you can see, we've been having a number of technical issues with our Zoom streaming
Of course.
this evening. Have you done any research into that issue? And
Yes.
can you shed any light on that?
So when we started is really when your streaming issue started. We found that I don't want to say too much public because it is a security threat if I said too much. But what we found were switches that were not configured properly. They're actually over on the police side, and for security reasons, they're behind locked doors, and so this room actually is wired over to the police. Somebody at some point was confused and set this room up as if it was on a different network. I apologize, I have to be vague. So in the midst of correcting that, we did create some of these issues that you've experienced. We've gotten ahead of most of them. You can see it's running. This is going to plague me, but I will make sure that's at the top of the list.
I felt like we had most of those corrected, but anything outstanding, I'd be more than happy to address.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Belia?
Sounds like you answered the question, but with regards to the communication, as far as our residents being able to provide public comment, is that something that you're working on as well?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I have a specialist actually who works with us. I will make sure he comes out next week and addresses this, and we can do a mock just to test, make sure everything works. Or do you guys need a game plan developed with the?
It would be nice to just have a timeline on what the probability is. And I think what our main goal is to ensure consistency and to make sure that we're able to provide a consistent source of engagement for the residents. It's counterproductive and unhelpful when residents are able to comment at one meeting and then they join online for the next meeting and it's not working properly. So we really want to make sure that we have a consistent game plan and we're up and running fully before we reopen that
We
portion.
do this commonly. One of our larger, it's an HOA, and they have 300 residents that are on, that come in for the meeting as well as online. I'm pretty sure we can get this done pretty quickly for you before the next meeting.
Okay.
Just, okay, real quick, with regards to the communication, again, virtually versus bodies in the room, I know that we do have online court during the business day. Are there any issues there that you've, as far as tickets that you know of?
There hasn't been any.
Okay.
As far as the court goes. I haven't heard anything. I've been working in their office. But I will certainly go in tomorrow just to make sure that nothing is.
And I bring that concern because I find it very interesting that the court system is able to communicate with the population outside the building, but specifically when we have our council meetings, there's like the ghost in the room, playing with the wires. So I just wanted to bring that thought to your attention, whatever the configuration is during the daytime, just wanted to put that out there
No, that's
Food for
a
thought.
very, very valid
Mhm.
point. That's something that I would definitely search for too in my regular troubleshooting. So I will certainly address that with them tomorrow, just to be sure that there's nothing going on. In your next meeting, I'll be sure to be here just to make sure everything goes smooth.
well, welcome to Bolingborough. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Mr. Belia, could that issue be because of how it's set up and the issues between the two different servers?
I will certainly get to the bottom of it and have that addressed, but it certainly could be. Those variables on how it's being recorded, what mics are being used, is it very basic versus very complex? I will certainly figure out those variables and have them addressed.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Belia.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And our municipal court taps into special systems and lines that is specifically and exclusively used by the court that we just don't have access to. So they have a little more secure advantage than the municipality. So thank you, Mr. Belia, for that information. And finally, I want to bring up Ms. Jackson, who's going to give us an update on things happening in the very near future.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, members of council, and all of our residents assembled. Before I go into the events, I do want to remind our residents that our trash survey, the deadline for our trash survey is on Friday, September 19th. So we do certainly encourage participation in that survey as we begin the process regarding our waste management collection. On Saturday, September 27th, we will host our Fall Clean Communities event. That will be at 9 a.m. at the Kennedy Center. There is information regarding the details and a sign up on our website. So we look forward to another successful Clean Communities event and in our efforts to keep Willingboro clean. Applications for the Citizen Police Academy are available, and the deadline for that is this week as well. Residents are invited to be a part of this 4-week class designed to inform and acquaint you with the world of law enforcement. Our Fire and EMS Department will host its 5th annual Fire Prevention Open House That will be held on Monday, October 6th. And that event will be from 6 to 8 at the Firehouse. That's 398 Charleston Road. There will be a special demonstration at 7 p.m. that will be hosted, special live burn demo presented by the West Windsor Fire Department, and all invited for that event. And then on Saturday, October 27th, we will have our annual trunk or treat, plus a little bit more. That will be held from 2 to 4 at the Kennedy Center. As always, we are welcoming individuals and organizations who want to serve as trunksters, event volunteers, and those who wish to donate money. So we do have a registration form for this year's event, which is on our website for those who are interested. Lastly, our leaf collection begins on October 27th. Information will be mailed to all residents regarding park schedules and procedures. So more information will be shared as that date approaches, but we want to make sure that you have that before you. And I believe that's everything. More information regarding our holiday events will be coming real soon, because I understand we're only 100 days away from Christmas. So stay tuned for more information. As always, our information is on our website, our social media, YouTube channel, and Bloomberg Weekly. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson.
Council, general public.
Good evening.
So this year, to try to make the leaf collection a little bit more efficient, we're looking into getting some signs to place out in front of each park. So when we're actually collecting the leaves in that park, residents have a visual aid and guidance letting them know that the collection is happening in that park at that time. Something along the lines of leaf collection happening in this area at this time. Just to let people know we're in your area, leaf collection is happening, put your leaves out, we're coming to get them, just to speed up and make the process more efficient.
Yes, and I would say, just to add to that, Mr. Chapman, if you can put those signs out maybe the week before or give them a little bit of
Oh, yeah.
time.
So that was the plan. The plan is to put them out like probably the Wednesday or the week before, and then we'll start the collection that following week in that area.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Mr. Chapman, and that's all that I have to present to you this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Do we have any questions or comments, concerns for Mr. Harris on his manager's report? Councilwoman Perron.
Thank you. Thank you for your report, Mr. Harris. Just a couple of follow-up questions. You did mention sidewalk repairs, street pavements. I wanted just to bring that back to the table of discussion. I know that there was 2 residents that spoke about their streets that were scraped, and the resolution was to repave that actual block. Did you have on a calendar when those streets would be repaired?
Memory.
Oh,
You said repave the blocks in relation to street sweeping.
okay, so this was a concern that I got 2 calls. Mr. Chapman probably can.
You got to get on that, Mr. Belia.
So that's the address you gave me in Tempo Lane as well. So they are on the list to get rectified. However, we handed over the whole binder of sidewalk repairs to our township engineer, and we're currently going through putting them in a whole list of priorities to get all our finances together so we can get, what we need, resources. We did not forget, but we are prepared to get all that. We're just getting it all codified and organized so we can address which ones are the most critical issues and which ones we can put off for a little while. But those ones are on the list due to what we did over there already previously.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
So another follow-up and concern. At our last council meeting, a group of residents from Buckingham, and you spoke about it this evening, were there concerns about their neighbors. One of the major concerns that they spoke about that I still have is the rodent issue. And I know I mentioned at the last council meeting, is it possible to assist that street area with some sort of poison control there, just to avoid any migration of mice, rats going through other parks? I know it's probably a one-family household issue, but when it comes to rodents, they migrate. And I feel like maybe we can do something as a township because of the issue, even if you're working maybe with the owners. I know you said you contacted the owners, but that whole area, maybe not just fleeing them away, but actually taking them out, the rodents. So did you look into any of that?
No,
or
I didn't look
you missed it?
into those particular issues because my understanding was that the mice were kind of, the result of persons moving out or whatever. So I did not look into the overall mouse issue in the neighborhood, thinking it was just related to one or two particular properties. And my understanding that the residents of one of those properties has vacated. So I will get in touch with our exterminator and we'll have conversations.
And Councilwoman Perone, also, I know we've gotten reports for some rodents when there's development that is close. So I know they built the townhouses right on the other side of that. So that development may have increased the population for that moment. But Mr. Harris, if you would just look into it.
Yeah, and that's probably a good point as far as how it happened. But definitely attacking it and seeing what we can do to get some poison out there, animal control to mitigate the rat mice pop. I'm very afraid of mice.
I don't know
Do not want them coming over to Garfield, but just, if we could just do something about it. But that's all. That's all I
We'll look into it. I don't know if just generally laying down poison is the solution because there are other things that will eat the poison as well, like cats and dogs. So, but we'll look into it.
Yeah, I'm not a poison control, animal control person at all, but I know that from New York, that's something that they would do when they broke down buildings. The exterminators would put something down to kill them because, I don't know, I'm not you contact the right people to tell you how to do it. I just know, I'm afraid that I don't want it to, the animals to migrate, the rodents to migrate to any other parts of Willingboro. That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Harris.
Thank you, Councilwoman Perone. Anyone else have any other comments or questions for Mr. Harris? I had just a few things, Mr. Harris, and as it concerns your report, I did want to thank you for comprehensively looking at the library carpet replacement. I know previously we may have spent the money to replace the carpet, but not looked at the contributing factors that added to the condition that the carpet is in. So I appreciate you taking into consideration the tile in the front and the skylights that are leaking in order to preserve and the investment that we'll be making over there in the flooring. Also, thank you for looking into the Belfour Lane, making sure that those landlords were contacted. We had a number of residents at the last meeting come and share some very pressing concerns that we do not take lightly. So I'm glad that you had that update included, and I want to let the residents know that we do listen to you, we do hear you, and we do want to make sure that you feel like this is a safe, clean, and protected neighborhood that you are living in. You had mentioned something about the Panthers cheerleading being canceled due to the lack of coaches, and I know there were 2 Panthers teams. I don't know if you've been in contact with the competition team because they may want to use that time slot because at the time we couldn't accommodate both teams because of the limited space within the JFK. But if one of those teams is not going, it may make an opportunity for the other team to be present. Take that note, Ms. Flower. In regards to the Kennedy track, it would also be helpful if we knew how much downtime that was going to take. I know there's a number of residents that use that track on a daily basis, some for physical therapy and things like that. So I just want to make sure that we give the residents enough time so that they can make other arrangements for their walking
Absolutely.
activities. And I think that's all I have. Yes, that was all I have. Thank you, Mr. Harris. We can move on to the resolutions overview.
So being presented for your consideration this evening is ordinance number 2025-17, which is an ordinance authorizing the municipal clerk to correct non-substantial and non-material errors in legislation. And I'll ask Ms. Savino if she would elaborate on that a little bit.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. This ordinance was originally supposed to be introduced last meeting. However, we added the provision that no financial, non-material changes will be made. They all have to come through the board, or, excuse me, the council. So this is referring to any other non-material change, including misspellings, grammatical errors, numbering errors, cross-referencing errors, punctuation errors, and typographical errors. It's really just to kind of speed up the process. You will still all be notified of any changes being made, and there will also be an official record that goes into our official ordinance book of what the change was and what it was changed from. It's really more just an in-house thing that would benefit us all.
Thank you, Ms. Savino. Next for your consideration is resolution number 231, which is a resolution authorizing the approval of vouchers for payment and ratification. Resolution number 232 is a resolution amending our governmental 457B plan for the Township of Willingboro. We are recommending council's approval of this resolution, which is a plan that currently does not include age designated to section 7(1)D of the plan document for police and firefighters. Because of the lack of an age designation, they are defaulted to be able to collect from those plans, I believe, at age 70. So what we were looking at the plan, keeping in consideration that firefighters and police officers have the ability to retire after 20 years of service. We have lowered the ability for them to start collecting their retirement in their 40s instead of, if they retire at that time, instead of having to wait until they're in their 70s to start collecting distributions. So that's what the amendment to that particular plan is in relation to. Resolution number 233 is a resolution authorizing the Township of Willingboro to establish a not-to-exceed amount for Continental Fire and Safety for the procurement of 20 sections of 5-inch large diameter supply hose. That's for the fire department. Fire hose is very expensive, number one, and it is something that has a lifespan. It can be used for a certain amount of time, and then it has to be retired, because if the hoses become weak and explode, it could be catastrophic during an emergency situation. So we're in the process of replacing some 5-inch large diameter fire hoses. And these were accounted for in our capital budget for 2025. We're going to ask that resolution number 234 be removed from consideration. Unfortunately, there was a mistake, and the vendor that's listed in that resolution is not on New Jersey State approved contract as they had presented themselves to be. So we will review that and come back and present it at another time. Resolution number 235 is a resolution to award a contract to the Cherry Valley Tractor Sale to purchase a Kabuto something for DPW. So if Mr. Chapman wants to explain what that is, I don't know.
Is a Kubota mini excavator, and that would help us with some of the sidewalk repairs. We don't have a mechanism right now to do any type of mini excavating, so that would help us with some of our sidewalk repairs.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chapman.
Yes. And it is Kabuto, not Komodo. Inside. Resolution number 236 is a resolution authorizing Willingboro to award a contract to Fred Beans Ford to purchase three Ford vehicles for the police department. Resolution number 237 is a resolution authorizing a final change order to increase the original contract price to level up retail services for the provision of NFC Fitness Court approved installation services. The contract that we got from Level Up was for $40,000 to do the construction for the court, for the fitness court. As part of that contract agreement, they wanted a $20,000 deposit. And when we prepared the resolution, we included $27,000 in the resolution, where the actual amount should have been $40,000. So this resolution is just authorizing the additional $13,000, so we can go ahead and finish paying them for that particular contract. And resolution number 238 is authorizing a change order, number 1, final increasing the contract price to KC Signs and Awnings for the provision of the park signs that we have seen around the community. This will finalize the contract and make payments for the signs that have already been installed. But our DPW department has gone out and done an inventory, and we are aware that we still need to order some additional signs. And we will get that done and have them hopefully replaced by the end of this year. And those are all the items being presented to you this evening for consideration.
All right, thank you, Mr. Harris. At this time, we will open it up for our first public comment on agenda items only. This public comment is for 2 minutes and must be something that you just heard explained that is on the agenda this evening. As a reminder, there are public comment cards in the back. If you haven't already filled one out, please fill it out, and you can come up at this time for public comment on agenda items only. All right, seeing none, we will move on to the ordinance. Madam Clerk?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So the only ordinance for you this evening is an ordinance for introduction, ordinance 2025-17. This is entitled Ordinance Authorizing the Municipal Clerk to Correct Non-Substantial Non-Material Errors in Legislation. Can I get a motion and a second to introduce?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Worthy, seconded by Councilman Anderson. Discussion? Roll call.
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Councilwoman McIntosh,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy,
Yes.
Mayor Whitfield.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
And at this time, are there any resolutions that anyone would like to pull from a consent agenda? All right, seeing none, I remember the one you asked, so I'll include that. I'd like to propose a consent agenda for resolutions 2025-231 through 2025-233 and resolution 2025-235 through 2025-238.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Councilwoman Perone, seconded by Deputy Mayor Worthy.
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Councilwoman McIntosh,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy,
Yes.
Mayor Whitfield.
Yes.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the same?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Perone, seconded by Councilman Anderson. Roll call?
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Councilwoman McIntosh,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy,
Yes.
Mayor Whitfield.
Yes.
Thank you very much. We do not have a treasurer's report this evening. However, you do have in front of you the minutes from September 2nd, 2025. If I can get a motion and a second to approve the regular meeting minutes from September 2nd.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Councilman Anderson, seconded by Councilwoman McIntosh. Roll call?
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Councilwoman McIntosh,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Dr. Worthy,
Yes.
Mayor Whitfield.
Yes.
Thank you.
And Madam Clerk, your updates.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Okay, so only a couple updates this evening. I will start with your bi-monthly reminder of upcoming important dates for the general election. The general election is November 4th, 2025. Polls are open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. As normal, voter registration deadline is due October 14th. You must have your application postmarked by that date. Early voting is October 25th to November 2nd. The deadline to apply for a vote by mail-in ballot through the mail is October 28th, but if you want to go and apply for a vote by mail-in ballot in person, you can go to the county in Mount Laurel up until November 3rd at 3 p.m. I also just received word today from the county that vote by mail-in ballots will be going out starting September 20th. So if you already have applied for a vote by mail-in ballot, keep your eye out for that. They said they should be out in the next week or two. Additionally, moving forward, we had our shred event last Saturday, September 13th from 12 to 2 p.m. During that time, we had 82 cars come through with paper to be shredded. We had approximately 18 96-gallon like garbage cans full of shred material just on that Saturday. On the Friday beforehand, September 12th, we officially got rid of all of the government documents that we spent the entire summer putting in Artemis and getting approval from the state to destroy. So we had actually 25 96-gallon stuff of just like really old documents that have been sitting in the library. So it was more like summer cleaning than spring cleaning, but we got there. And then finally, I met with the QPA this morning to kind of just hash out the final details of the final draft of the 2026 professional service RFPs. So that should be good to go by the end of this week. I'm hoping to send it out by the end of next week. So then we'll have more than enough time to have it advertised, get it out to, hopefully a wide group of people. And I'm hoping to have the opening date October 30th. That's a Thursday. So that is all my big stuff for the update right now.
All right, and thank you, Madam Clerk. One clarification, you said folks can go to the county office for mail-in ballots to put in those applications. Did you mean in Mount Laurel or Mount Holly?
Mount Holly.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
All right, any questions for our clerk? Seeing none, thank you, Madam Clerk. At this time, do we have any unfinished business? Any new business? All right, seeing none, this is our general public comment. This public comment will be for 4 minutes. Anyone wishing to speak can come up to the microphone. Please state your name and hand your card to either the clerk or our deputy clerk sitting there in the front row. Public comment is now open for all general items.
Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Council. My name is Lula Custis. I live at 53 Eden Rot Lane here in Willingboro. I'm here because I'm being forced to sell my house. And the reason being is for health reasons. On Saturday, well, the people moved back in whose house burned down. And on Saturday, I called the police 7 times because the music went on to 2:30 in the morning. They again started on Sunday, again, and again on Monday. I spoke to my neighbors. I have a neighbor across the street who, like me, has heart conditions and migraines. My neighbor next door is on a round-the-clock machine. And I just think it's so unfair that I moved here in 1999 with the intent of only leaving Willingboro when I went out either head or foot first. And now I'm having to sell my house and move elsewhere. And I don't think it's fair that we should be subjected to that. Now, I found out today that Willingboro does not receive the calls. It goes to a call center. And with 7 calls, the music never went down. And I spoke to my neighbors again today, and they agreed that it never went down. And that's, I think, is unfair. And I don't know what the council is going to do about it, but we should not be subjected to that. I'm 78 years old with a bad heart and migraine headaches. And I just got out of the hospital in NYU twice. And now I have to put my house up for sale if I plan on keeping my health.
All right, thank you, Ms. Costas. We will respond to public comments at the end of public comment when we close public.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi,
Good evening.
Mayor, Deputy Mayor, and Council. My name is Leslie Geraci. I was here last week. Thank you very much, Mr. Harris, for looking at possibly strengthening our ordinances for people that are owning the rental properties. One of the property owners that you mentioned owns, I think, 11 properties in Willingboro. I did some research, and I am sure every single one of them looks like the house next to mine. I did have one of the inspectors out again yesterday because nothing has been done. It's ridiculous. What is in that backyard in terms of vegetation? You would never know there was a backyard fence. The vegetation goes up to the electrical lines, and it's a mess. We talked about the rodent problem. The rodent problem were the mice coming out of the house that was vacant. However, this house next to me has rats, and they're going to be around until everything is cleaned up. If people throw trash in their backyard, if you have food items thrown in the backyard, they are going to go after that. Second thing is the food bank. Again, it was Food Bank Day, as it was last week. And on Balfour Lane, we had all of the traffic. One of the police officers did stop by because we did have a guy that couldn't park, so he was out in the middle of the street in front of my driveway. When I went to come in, you couldn't get around him. You'd never get an ambulance or a fire truck down our street on Food Bank Day. The people, first of all, I'm appalled that we have to have a food bank in this day and age in this country. However, they have to respect they're in people's neighborhoods. They park in front of our driveways. They beep their horns constantly if they don't feel the line is moving fast enough. Last week, somebody from the food bank came over, parked his car, and went up and down telling people to move backwards, forwards, out of the way of the driveways. But that's not consistent, so we need some help there. Somebody is going to either have a parked car in the street hit, or there's going to be, people are getting angry, and it's not fair that we have to put up with it. But thank you. I hope we get a great ordinance in place because we have to go after the landlords. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Geraci. Good evening.
Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Councilmen and women, and our residents. I am Pastor Jeanette Brewer, and I specifically came to address the issue that I just heard. And hold it down so I can stay within my 4 minutes. So I do want to apologize because some of what she said was true, but I'm here on behalf of our community food pantry to address those recent traffic concerns during our pantry events. So we understand that there's been parked cars. The issue started on Van Sciver Parkway. We've been serving the community for over 5 years and have been a blessing to the community. And unfortunately, there is food insecurity. There's programs being cut back, SNAP being cut back. There's people that need food. We are addressing it. We are collaborating and working with the Willingboro Police Department. We have 2 of their representatives
that will be coming to our staff meeting on Monday. I myself was on Balfour on my scooter, moving the cars. I have a guy that is stationed out there now for the whole time. We have beepers for the people to come and move up. We're only letting them go 10 cars at a time. We're moving them off the street into our parking lot. We have made 3 lanes so that no one's on Van Skyver Parkway. As far as around the corner, there was another issue that came up, so we learned about that today. We got them off of Van Skyver, but now they're going down Balfour and they're going all the way back around to JFK. So we're working with, I think it was Officer Wilcox and another officer that came out today. And so we're coming up with a new system, which will probably give them time slots where they will only be able to come at a certain time. So that way they won't have that congestion. Unfortunately, we went from 84 starting in 2020 to now over 200 and some people that need food today. And so we are working on that. We want to be a service to the community. We don't want to be a nuisance to the community. And so I just wanted the residents to know that we hear you and we're addressing it and we're doing what we can to do it, and it will be resolved really soon. I've gone around there myself and told people just today, you cannot park in front of driveways. And so we're trying to monitor that area now to make sure that our residents in our community are comfortable or don't feel intruded upon or anything like that. Okay.
All right, thank you,
All right.
Pastor Brewer.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon. Good evening. Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Council, Public. My name is Vernita Bell, and I'm here before you today introducing myself. I wanted to give you an opportunity to put a face to the proposal that I submitted for the Willingboro Food Pantry. I wasn't sure if it was going to be on the agenda tonight. I came out and hoped that it would, but I stayed because I wanted to let you know who I am. The food pantry proposal that I submitted. My family and I are former restaurant owners. I know you want to have a cafe and different things. We're former restaurant owners. We have been in Willingboro for over 35 years serving the community. Okay. 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 I wasn't sure how it worked. I just wanted to introduce myself. But if I'm out of place, I apologize to the council and everyone else. I was told this was okay to do this, but okay. Okay, I'm sorry. I was told that it was okay, but I apologize for anything that I may have done.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Bell.
All right?
Thank you.
She saw my face.
All right, is there any other public comment? Seeing none, public comment is now closed. We do have a number of, and before you move it, Chief Bucks, I'm just gonna have you step to the mic because we had a couple things for you to address. We did have Ms. Costas discuss a noise complaint and some issues on Eden Rock Lane.
So it was on Goodwin, right, ma'am? We spoke earlier in the parking lot prior to the council meeting tonight. I have to look into, see what happened on Saturday night, and I gave her my business cards. I have her number, she has mine, and I told her I would follow up with her on Thursday, so that way I can look to see if we were even dispatched. If we were dispatched, what was the outcome of those types of calls, and then I will go from there. I'll get back to her by Thursday or Friday.
Okay, that'll be great because we definitely don't want anyone forced into selling their house because of the condition. The environment condition is impeding on their health. So thank you for taking a look at that. Also, there was Do you want to make a comment on any of the food bank, traffic?
We've been working together with our community engagement unit and our traffic safety unit. We've been going to all the food banks that we have in town. Another one is on Route 130. We've spoken with them. We've gave them suggestions similar to what we gave to the other food bank. The difference with the one on 130 is the contract that they have is it's first come, first served, so they can't give out certain time slots. So we kind of just came up with a little bit of a game plan to help with the traffic parked on the shoulder of Route 130 as they come over the bridge from Delran. And we're going to continue to monitor it with our traffic safety unit and our community engagement unit on a regular basis.
Okay, great. Thank you, Chief Bucks.
You're welcome.
And now you can give the mic back. All right, Mr. Harris, there were a couple other things that I think for you to address. Mr. Reese from Balfour Lane, and you did mention a little bit about that, but can you just talk a little bit about the backyard vegetation and just the commitment to looking at the mice and rat problem?
So I will ask Mr. Sanders if he would come and speak. He is representing Mr. Tunstall's office this evening, and our code enforcement is the department that's responsible for monitoring these types of issues with our neighborhood and properties, and I would like some report there.
Sorry.
Good evening, Council, Mayor, Deputy Mayor.
Good evening.
Briefly, I know we mentioned, I believe it was on Balfour. I cannot give any detail, and the reason being is because one of these properties has been inspected. I believe it's one of Ms. Teresi is mentioning. I'm almost positive that it is. It has been notified. Property has been notified. I'm going to give Mr. Harris some more information at the end of this meeting tonight. Has been notified. The overgrowth is on our radar. I will tell you that there is a time period that is involved with that. Can't go any further detail with that for privacy reasons.
Okay. All right, thank you. Oop, if you can just say that right into the mic.
Yeah, that once we have hit that time period, that we do what we do, and the result is what the result will be, please. Thank you.
And Mr. Harris, I know we talked a little bit about this before, but can you provide at the next meeting just any results or investigation that you've done about mice or rat problems in a municipality? If you have any, if there are any suggestions or strategies that we can take to mitigate that issue, not just on Balfour Lane, but other areas that it may be a trouble for.
Yes, Mr. Chapman will get right on that.
Thank you, Mr. Chapman. All right, I also want to thank Pastor Brewer for coming up and giving that update. We know that the food bank and the pantry is a valuable resource for our community and those who are having trouble with food insecurity. We've seen the numbers of participants in our food banks go up across the municipality. I know in 2020 it really started to balloon, but with today's times and food costs, the number has just continually been increasing. So we value the resource that you're providing to the community, and we thank you for being conscientious about the surrounding neighbors and how they're impacted by the food pantry and the traffic that is spurring from that. And we appreciate the attention that you're giving to that matter and finding ways to continue to serve the community, but also to minimize the imposition on the residents that are neighboring. All right, and Ms. Bell, thank you for coming up and showing your face. Sorry we couldn't talk to you more, but I'm sure that we will get that recommendation in the coming days or weeks, and maybe we will see you again, but we appreciate you coming this evening. Any other questions, comments, concerns from council? All right, seeing none, we will go to council comments. Any council have any comments?
Just want to thank everyone for coming out and say congratulations to Captain Harry, Lieutenant Thomas, and Sergeant Klaus. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Councilman Anderson. Anyone else? All right. With that said, I do want to just share a couple things. Thank you, everyone, for coming out and for bearing with us as we go through these technology issues. As you can see, it's an ongoing, and some issues are being discovered as we're going through with the transition of our IT department. So we appreciate you bearing with us as we get things back on the right track with that. Also, I do want to remind everyone that we do have the community cleanup on September 27th at 9 a.m., correct, Ms. Jackson? Okay, at 9 a.m. at JFK. This is one of my favorite events in the township, and it's a real opportunity for all of us to pitch in. So if you, yourself, your neighbors, I encourage you to promote this event, to come out, share a couple hours with the township, just so that we can do some of that fine detailing of the cleanup in our municipality. We had a very enthusiastic resident, Mr. Floyd, who used to run the cleanup in Buckingham Park. He's since moved, but we are really trying to keep that legacy and community participation spirit alive with the Clean Communities Grant. And he says that it's possible if we have 120 volunteers, we can get the whole township cleaned up in 3 hours. So, so I really like to put that to the test. So make sure you come on out, invite your churches, your neighbors, your friends, your family to come out and help us tighten up before the winter. That said, please make sure you download the Willingboro Connect app, subscribe to the Willingboro Weekly, and we look forward to seeing you all at our next council meeting. With that said, we don't have any executive session this evening, and I will entertain a motion for adjournment. Second. Moved by Councilwoman McIntosh, seconded by Deputy Mayor Worthy. Roll call? Or all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Good evening, Willingboro.
The time is now 8:37.
Sam, do you file these away?